はい、皆様こんばんは。機械攻め隊 Vtuber57 番こといつなです。本日は、ザ・スタンリーパラブルウルトラデラックスの続きをやります。ということで、ゲームを起動して直後の画面を映しているんですが、私は一番最初にやったはずの明るさ調整をどうしてもう一度やらされようとしているんでしょうか。サムネの写真撮るために起動した時にもなんかいろいろ言われたんだよね。このゲーム起動するたびになんか言われる。マジで起動するたびになんか言われる。から起動から配信をしないと何が何だかわからなくなるんですよね。ということで今日はこっからいじらずにやっています。明るさんなもん最大だよ。じゃないと見えないからな。配信に映らねえんだ。コメント読もう。シャギさん、ひのいとさん、せつなぴーさん、こんばんは。こんつなです。よいしょ。この犬と猫が友達になるようにスライダーを調節してください。はい。はあ。細かいな。友達ってなんだ？これさ、これ友達じゃなくない？これ恋人じゃん。もう夫婦じゃん、これは。一週間なんとかじゃん。一週間婚姻だよ。一週間婚姻体になっちゃう。友達ってどこだ？アリフィネさんもこんばんは。友達の距離感ってどこだ？これはさ、もう、恋仲じゃん。婚姻まで行ってないっていうレベルだったら多分ここじゃん。友達ってさ、このぐらいじゃない？これ他人じゃん。これ知り合いぐらいでさ、これ友達でさ、ここから先は友達とは言えないじゃん。恋愛感情が芽生え始めたらそれは友達とは言えなくない？男女の友情は成り立つの問題だよ。視野角の調整なのかな？友達の LINE の視野ね。どれだけ視野を広げるか。そう、ハート出た時点でフラグ立ってるんよ。じゃあここだよ。ここが優勝。ハートが出る直前ぐらい、フラグが立つ前じゃない？このぐらい、このぐらい。よし。5か9になるまでスライダーを調節してください。これ？あ、9もある。9もある。なんだこれ。サメハラさんもこんばんは。でも、この場合指定されてるのは、この5が、この9になるまでだと思うんですよ。私。だから、指定されてるのはこれだと思うんですけど、そういう話かな。これだろ。あなたがスライダーの調節を止めるまでスライダーを調節してください。一回止めたらそこで終わりってことですか？一回止めたらそこで終わりってことですか？心を決めろよってことですか？どういうことなの？もうちょっと、もうちょっともうちょっとロジカルに話してくんねえかな。なあ。この二つの造語はどちらがあなたにとって魅力的ですか？オッキュボインカル。スクラムティッシュ。スクラムティッシュ。私、言葉の響きはスクラムティッシュの方が好きだよ。みんなどっちが好き？これみんなに聞けるじゃん。みんなどっちが好き？オッキュボインカルとスクラムティッシュ。私はこっちの方が好ましいよ。こういう語感好き。スクラム。略語すら生まれてしまった。スクラムかな？スクラムに1票。スクラムだよな。なんかこう、語感がもちゃもちゃしてるんだよな。オッキュボインカル。 出手してる。刺さってる感じがする。よい。よし。スライダーを調節しないでください。バレへん、バレへん。今何時かわかりますか？いや、バレへん、バレへん。アイザイさんもこんばんは、こんつなです。今何時かわかりますか？はい。その現在の時刻は正しい時刻ですか？私は日本標準時に沿って動いているので、正しい時刻だと思うんですけど。そもそも時間って何なんでしょうか？はいかいいえかの二択で答えろと言われている。ちょっと私には分かんないのでいいえですかね。あなた自身のことで私にまだ何か言っていないことがありますか？あなた誰ですか？あなたは誰ですか？名を名乗ってもらえませんか？ナレーター、喋っている人よりとは喋り方が違うんですけど、あなたは誰ですか？それは言ってないことの一つや二つや三つや四つや100ぐらいありますよ。船野さんもこんばんは。助けて。ちょっと、友達になってから出直してきてください。また私を訪ねてきてくれますか？まあ、助かったらいいですよ。なんだよ！なんだったんだよ！教えろよ！なんだったんだよ！今の時間は！そこはかとなく病んでる。ということで本日はね、ザ・スタンリー・パラブル2をね、やっていこうと思うんですけど、前回ね、いくつかエンドを見て、いくつかエンドを見たうちの半分ぐらいはスタンリー君が死んでしまったんですけれども、なんかウルトラデラックスの出来良くないよねみたいな話をして、じゃあ新しい機能どういうの、こういう機能を作ったよ、じゃあこれを混ぜてスタンリーパラブル2を作ろうみたいなところで始まりましたね。なんだこれ、よくわかんないんですけど、というわけで、本日のゲームのタイトルはザ・スタンリーパラブルウルトラデラックスではなくザ・スタンリーパラブル2をやっていこうと思います。皆様よろしくお願いします。なんで私はザ・スタンリーパラブルウルトラデラックスを買ったと思うんですけどね。クリックするとスキップしますがでかくない？本当に風船ついてる。ゴミ片付けろ。この辺はスタンリー、ザ・スタンリーパラブルとストーリー同じですね。暇だから揺れとこ。
And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
ここまで風船がある以外にザ・スタンリーパラブルですけど、
single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to
風
give
船があ
him
りますね。
instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had
ゴ
this
ミ
happened.
散らかさないでくださ
This
い。
complete isolation.
片付けてから
Something
消え
was
てく
very
ださ
clearly
い。
wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to
片
move
付
for
け
the
てから消え
longest
てく
time.
ださい。
But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
ウェルカムバック。はい。ただいま。ただいま。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
摩
simply
擦係
missed
数
a
の低い
memo.
床。いつも通りですね。ゴミ。なんか通れなくなってる。なんで？邪魔するのやめてください。こっちは画面を消すのに忙しいんです。これなんだっけ ?12 歳のメイの誕生日おめでとうみたいなこと書いてあるんだよね。確か。ハッピー 12th birthday ステップ。ニース読めねえ。
Stanley felt the bucket calling to him, begging him to pick it up.
あ
Why was he not doing it?
どこだよ、バケツ。どこにあったんだよ。これか。いや、邪魔なだけなんすよね。いらない。で
When Stanley came to a set of two open
も
doors,
ういつ
he
も通
entered
りの
the
スタ
door
ン
on
リーで
his
すね。
left.This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it
同
perfectly
じっす
well.
ね。
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
風船ないんかい。
Truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get
風
back to
船ないん
business,
かい。
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
どうしようかな。どうしようかな。どうしよっかな。
And so
あ
he
れだな。
detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
上司の部屋行ってエレベーターで下に降りてから先を何もやってないからさ、あれやり
Feeling
に
a
行く
wave
か。
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
誰青い風船置いたの上司前がやれって言ったの切れそう。Says goes if the boss is surface loses, then that's what the boss does. 切れそう。いらねー。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
間違えた。2845。
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code
すごいな。
by sheer luck.
うるせえよ。
He stepped
今
into
敷かれ
the
たロー
newly
ルに
opened
敷かれたロール
passageway.
敷かれたレールに乗ってやってんだからよ。感謝しろよ。切れそう。あれ集める実績あるのかな。でも実績にならないよって話をしてたからさ、マジで実績がない可能性は全然あるんだよね。
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the
いつ
nature
も
of
のエレ
his
ベー
job.
ター。
Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him?
じゃあ前に
This
進む
question
か
would。not go unanswered for long.
ガン。ここどこ？
Stanley walked straight ahead through the
マイン
large
ド
door
コントロー
with
ル
red mind
ファ
control
シリティ。
facility.
暗い。電気つけて。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
出た。
What horrible secret
ようや
did
く
this
正し
place
く
hold?
ここにたどり着い
Stanley
た。
thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
つかないんかい。まだなんかい。 これか。こっち。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building.
なくない私の番号。あれなんだっけ
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images
番号
on
も
a
忘れちゃっ
screen.
た。
And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
バグってるやつとかある。なんで197とかあの辺上にあるんだ。入りきらなかったんか。設計ミスじゃんそれはさ。ちゃんと作れよ最初から。こっち。
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it
い
blindly?
や生き生きしてるね。感謝してほ
No.
しい。
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it.
丁
His
寧に
own
スタンリー
life
パラブルを
in
プレイしてる
someone
ことに
else's
感謝してほしい。
control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
ジャンプサークル見つかんなかったな。どこにあったんだろ
Here
う。
was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it
押せてるのか、こ
monitored
れ。
and commanded from this
あ、押せなくなっちゃった。
very place.
適当
And
に
as the
全部押
cold
したら押せなくな
reality
っちゃ
of
っ
his
た。
past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again
あ、
exert
押せる
its
押せる。
terrible power over another human
前のコン
life.
トロールステータスオ
For
フライン。
he would dismantle the controls once and
コントロー
for
ル
all.
ディセーブル。できないよ。はい。そうか。全部叩き壊しちまわねえか。そんなさ、コントロール施設を壊すとかいう、そんな、内部からじゃなくて外部からさ、大きな力によって、ぶち壊してやんねえかな。5ってなんだなんだまあ、よくわからないものを急にお出ししないで。3?1 がどこかにある ?1 から順に押せばいいんすか？通れる。あ、あるあるあるある。1、2、でもなんか、ダメだよみたいな音。それはミスだよみたいな音鳴ってるな。じゃあ正しい順番が存在するのか、これには。4がなくない？35。35、あ、上にある。気づかんて、そんな。1、2、3。暗くてよくわからない。皆さんには見えているのでしょうか、これが。果たして皆様の手元にこの映像は届いているのでしょうか。あかねー。あかんやんけ。あかへんやんけ。ダメでは？ギリ見えてる。ならええか。これ以上私にはどうしようもないので、皆様の方で画面の明るさを調整していただいてね、見ていただければと思うんですけど。開かへんやんけ。なあ。開けてくれや。開かないな。ダメか。そうか。こ ここにジャンプサークルがあって乗り越えれたりはしなさそうだね。そっか。じゃあダメやな。しゃあないな。
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it
結局
stood
同僚
for.
がどこに行ったかって分かってなくない？システムパワー切る？切っちゃうか。うわ、うるせえ。うるせえ。皆様、鼓膜は大丈夫だったでしょうか？私は保証対象外なのでちょっと。急にバカでかい音
And a
となるの
rising
良くない
chill
と
of
思う。
uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
めっちゃ素直にエンディングに。
Even as the immense door slowly
エンディン
opened,
グか？
Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
せやぞ。
Where had
な
his
あ。
co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
なあ、戻
What
ら
other
せてくれ
mysteries
よ。
did this strange building hold?
1から5の
But
順に
as
ボタンが押
sunlight
してよ、
streamed
私。
into the chamber, he realized none of
わー
this
い。
mattered to him.
外だ。
For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but
はいよ、相手。
happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And
め
that
っ
was
ちゃ素直
all
に
he
エンディン
needed
グい
to
った。
know. It was perhaps the
あ、
only
開けて。
thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
めっちゃ綺麗じゃない？めっちゃ外綺麗じゃん。ドア。
Stanley felt the
ああ、
cool breeze
勝手に
upon
動
his
いた。
skin. The feeling of
めっちゃ外
liberation.
綺麗。電線がある。
Immense
電線
possibility
があ
of
るじゃ
the
ないけ
new
ど。
path before him. This was exactly the way, right now,
電
that
線ある
things
け
were
ど
meant to
さ、この
happen.
電線何のためにあるんだろ
And Stanley
う。だってこの施設多分電力自力で供給してるじゃん。何をどう引いてんの？もしかしてマインドコントロールされたビートサゲーム。職員たちがあそこで電力を作っていた。そういう話？やん、まだ。まだスタンリーパラブル2じゃん。え、これいつまで2なの？ちょっとよくわかんないのでやめてほしい。あれ消えた。おー、これあれか？起動するたびにリセットされるタイプか。
Maybe Stanley would never pick up the bucket. A lonely bucket, lonely. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
もうバ
Stanley
ケ
knew
ツの
it
ことは
perfectly well.
放置です。
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire
あと
it.
まだやってないことって何？
Wow.
さっきのところで。
Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a good, but eager
褒め
to
た
get
たえる
back
言
to
葉が
business,
少な、
Stanley
語彙
took
が
the
少なす
first
ぎんか。
open door on his left.
どうしようかな。なんかやることないなっちゃったんだよな、ぼちぼち。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
ぼちぼちやること
Look,
ないなって
Stanley,
しま
I
った
think
からさ。
perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really.
コメント指示中に従って
I
もいいんだよな、
realize
そ
that
ろそろ。
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult.
コメントナレーター
But
に
the
従
fact
ってもいい
is
わ
that
ね。
the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone
じゃ
you
あ。
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are
な
you
いで
that
す、そんなも
convinced
の。
that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this,
ここ
but
な
I
んだっ
really
け？
do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is
はいを開け
important.
てくんな
Stanley
い？
walked through the red door.
まあ、ここで従ってみるか。
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to
鈴
me.
宮さんもこんばん
You
は、
see
こん
that
つ
I
なで
really
す。
have wanted you to be happy all this time. The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley?
ちょっとよくわかんない。
I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution.
なくない？
Here, let me show you.
どうすんの？あー、電気ついた。怖っ。怖っ。奈落じゃん。アビスじゃん。え
What do we want? What are we looking for?
どこ？ここ。
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
眩しい。ちょっと眩しいのも苦手な。暗いのもダメなんですけど、眩しいのも苦手。
No, wait. Where are you going?
なんだここ。なんだここ。
Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
まあ、だとしてもなんで階段に近づいちゃダメなんですか？
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
あ、
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
スタンリー君。
No!
なんですぐ死んでしまうの？あ、生きとるわ。
Thank God, you lived.
死なんかっ
You
た
had
わ。
me worried there for a moment. No. What are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
スタンリー君意外としぶといね。まあこれもエンディングを見るためだから。
Stanley,
よく生きてる
let's go。
まあ
back to
足
the
ないんだから
other
当たり前か。足
can you
遅
do
い。
that for me?
足遅い。
Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy.
ね、なんか優
Am I
しめ
reading
だ
the
ね。
situation correctly?
身を投げることはあんまり許さないタイプ。そら許すやつはおらんわな。音が
Maybe
痛い
you're
よ
just getting a
ー。
kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get
しぶ
along.
といなぁ。今
But I
回
guess that
の
was too much to ask.
このスタンリー君
It
しぶ
looks
とい
like you
ね。
wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
あなたの選択ですみたいなことが言いたいんですかね。よーし、行くぞー。あ、
Is it over?
あ、
It's
死ん
going
だ。
to restart, isn't it? I'm going
これ
back.
両親の呵責ってやつを見せつけてくんのやめてくんねえかな。あ、ただいま世界。
All of his co-workers were gone. What
た
could
だい
it
ま世
mean?
界。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
あと何やってないかな。はい。は座ってたっけ最初から。びっくりしちゃった。
Stanley,
あ、
pick up the bucket.
やだー。やだけどこれ以上何にもで
No
きん
matter how
な。
hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
バケツいらないんだけど。
Stanley picked up
邪
the
魔なだ
bucket.
けなんだけど。
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on it. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him,
バケツ
telling him that the employee lounge
全部
was
バケ
simply
ツの
the
せいにし
place
だしちゃっ
to be.
た。
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on
どう
his
しよっ
left
かな
to go back to the meeting room. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked
これあ
straight
れ
ahead
かな
to the opposite door.
スタンリーパラブル2をちゃんとプレイしないと許してくれないかな。
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was coming to a
しゃあねえ
staircase.
な。
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
バケツと一緒にスタンリーパラブルをプレイするか。あ、
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines.
バカ腹
Remember,
立つ。
no reward for collecting all of these. Only the
バカ腹立つ。
intrinsic
もういい。
pleasure of a
もう
job
映さな
well
くていい。
done.
もう
You
映さなくてい
can't
い。い
buy
つ
that
ま
sort
で
of
映してるん
happiness,
だ。
Stanley. God knows I've tried. So,
画面
I
赤くなる
implore
の
you to
さ。
savor
若
each
干のホラー
and
見な
every
い。
moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
はよ。はよと下ろしてくれ。はよ下ろしてくれ。よし。はあ。まったく、もう。あのパソコンついてたら消してやろうと思ったんだ
Stepping
けど。
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover
間違え
not
た
an。
せやった。
The bucket did not react, except perhaps a tiny glow of
Yes.
warmth. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew?
うるせえ
all
な、
along?
バケツバケツってよ。実力だよ、実力。
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands?
プレイしながら、
Or
配信でプレイさせながら、
Stanley
デバッグをするんじゃな
I
い。
think I like that.
最初から決めとけんだもん。
Stanley under your belt.
入手画面とこの世界観が合ってないんだよな。合ってなさすぎる。バケツ邪魔だよ。
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself
バケ
together,
ツにそれ
if
ほ
not
ど
for
の
the
価値は
bucket.
ないよ。
Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket
暇
is
すぎ
here
て
for
揺れ
you,
るしかない。
Stanley. Everything will be fine.
バケツごとき何ができるって
Stanley
言う
and
ん
the
だ
bucket
よ。
walked straight ahead through the large
そういえ
door
ば
that
こっちもある
read
のか。
Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word
一回行
escape
ってみようぜ。
written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and
こ
the
の死を
bucket
遂げるの
would
です。
both meet a
そうか。
violent death.
現世からの脱出ってか。
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every
あー、め
opportunity
っちゃ
to
引き
turn
返せって言われて
around
る。
and get back on track. At this point,
長くない？
Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each
お
of them.
互いにとってってなんだ。おお一生奈落じゃん。わーあーあおあ、ろくでもない。
As the machine whirred into motion,
ろくでも
and
ない。
Stanley and the bucket
なんで
inched
そんなもの
closer
が
to
こん
their
なところにあるんだ。
Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort
なんで
had
そんな
turned
もの
out
が
to
こんなと
be.
ころにあるん
To
だ。
be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
ぺっちゃんこになっちゃっ
Farewell,
た。
Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley,
誰？
cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to
も
an
うちょっと
end
スタンリー君
as it
に
was crushed
注目してあげてくれま
violently
せん
to
か。
death.
ほっ。ああ
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent
Stanley-
bucket. It's true that all
Ah.
buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
バケツを褒めたたえるんじゃない。いや、本当だよ。第三勢力。来店時会への来場お待ちしております。あなたは今、知識の崖に立っています。人の精神はたびたび、バケツのように空っぽになり、洞窟のような虚無感さえあります。しかし、あなたの目の前にある展示物を使うことで心は豊かに満たされ、具体化されます。 このバケツの知識とその歴史は私たちが持つ唯一の真実の知識なのです。ここであなたが学んだことを世界に持ち出すつもりですか？この提示の情報について課題があるかもしれませんが、心を開いてくれますか？あなたの生活やあなたの大切な人をこの展示をきっかけに変えられますか？もしくはあなたは目を背け、無知と暗闇の中で今までと同じように生きますか？なんじゃボケ。うるせえわ。おめえも説教か。説教するやつしかおらん。
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
25個のバケツ。史上最多ら25個のバケツ。数週間にわたり緊張性ショックを与えました。25個どころじゃない数のバケツがあると思うんすけど。何？たらいのバケツバージョン？当てづらいと思うんだけど。地獄バケツ。地獄バケツのレプリカ。中世紀、この強力な魅力を持つバケツの支配をめぐり。前回のチームバット評価みたいなこと言ってる。2つの取っ手付きバケツ。一度も前例がなく危険すぎる無謀な実験とされています。毎年それを試みただけで十数人が処刑されています。危険って無謀なのはそのせいでは？数十人毎年処刑するから危険で無謀だって言われてんだよ。それ自体に何の危険性もないよ。ストレスバケツ、解説なし。ネガティブシンキング。Rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy, rest and relaxation. ああ、なるほどね。ストレスを入れて出したら、リラックスできるよみたいな話してる？あ？なんだここ。洞穴の絵。人類誕生より前に実在していた。バケツの実用的な使い方の発見について。バケツ自身が使うことを許可し、人類がその宝を使うのにふさわしいと判断されたという点。なんか、常識とか、歴史とか塗り替えられてる、ここ。
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
ぶら下げられたバケツ。人間とバケツとの必要な関係性を象徴しています。どれほどバケツが我々の手中にあろうとまだまだ把握しきれてない部分がたくさんあるのです。この距離は私たち自身のため必然的にあるのです。はっ！飛び降りれる。は？飛び降りれない。飛び降りれると思ったのに。
Something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
誰だよ。戻ってきた。
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die.
宗教によって私は殺されようとしている。
As leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
バケツを手に取ったせいで殺された？なんか今一瞬テキスト見えたな。おかえり。もうちょっと何か言ってくれてもいいと思うんだけど。何だったの今の体験。もうこのゲームは一生スタンリーパラブル2として生きていくの？バケツを拾えとも言われないの？私はどうすればいいの？バケツ、拾える。拾っちゃった。拾えないかもしれないなって思ったから、まあ触っとくかって思ったら拾っちゃった。
and
じゃあ
entered
今度は
the
エスケープせずに行くか、この世からの。正しくスタンリー、あ、なんかおかしくなってきちゃった。How can you tell you put it one? Follow clues provided by employee. 416番かなんかやったの。グッドラック。クソが。はっす。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
まあまあまあ、今回はね、バケツを拾ってしまったので、まだあんの？ない。クソが。なんで変わっとるんじゃ。腹立ってきたな。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer
もう
luck.
話の流れがぐちゃぐちゃだよ。
Was the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
あー、切れそう。バケツぐらいか。バケツと、フィギュアと、風船と、あとなんだっけ、要素として挙げられ
Stanley
て
and
た
the
の。
bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read
忘れちゃった。
Mind
ジャンプ
Control
と、
Facility.
名前を呼んでくれるボタンか。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
バケツは何も思わねえよ。無機物やぞ。
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in
あっ
shock.
た。
Everyone in
あ
the
れか。
office was being videotaped, monitored
暗
like
くない？
guinea
私のオ
pigs.
フィスだけ。
The bucket had never seen anything
スタンリー
like
のオ
this,
フィスだ
and
け
it
暗くな
very
い？
nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that
主人
everything
公じゃ
would
ん、
be
バケ
fine.
ツ。いつの間にか座を奪われてるんだけど。いや、さっきもそうだったわ、でも。
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence
ねえ
as
よ。
well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do?
わからずに言うなよ。
or not want to do in the first place? These
開けて開けて開けて。
questions raced furiously in Stanley's
開けて
face.
開けて開けて。よし。
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
はい。
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation.
バケツ
Controls
さ、
labeled with emotions.
上に飛んで
or
4
sad
番
or
上げたりしな
content.
い？しないか。
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his
バケ
past
ツに関して
began
言
to
及する？
sink
こ
in,
れ。
Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the
さっき
bucket,
出会ったばっ
up
かです
against
け
the
ど。
world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
どうしよう。システムオンにもしたいんだけどさ、いい加減タイトル画面元に戻ってくんねえかなって思うからさ、もう一回やるわ。ああ、頼むよ。ザ・スタンリー・パラブル・ウルトラ・デラックスに戻ってくれ
Stanley and
よ。
the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
もしかしてさ、フィギュア全部集めないと帰ってこれなか
They
ったり
had
す
done
る？
it. Stanley and the bucket had
あ、
defeated
バ
their
ケツの
greatest
鍵があ
and
る。
darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd live together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait, what was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
話違うけど。
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty.
やっぱバケツなんて不純物を持ってきたのが悪かったのでは。
This building did not want the bucket to leave.
バケツ捨てようぜ。
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming
バケツ
presence
捨
of
て
the
ようよ
bucket,
じゃあ。
needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to.
なんだよバケツって。
No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms.
捨てさせろよ
Not
バケ
while
ツ
this
を。
building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room.
バケツに取り憑かれちゃった。
At least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't
洗
I?
脳されちゃった。
Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
え？もうダメだ。私たちの知ってるスタンリー・パラブルは帰ってこないんだ。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
スタンリー・パラブル2になった流れを覚えてないからもう私はどうすれば帰ってこれるのかわからないよ。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting
下降
room,
りてみ
and
るか。
Stanley knew it perfectly
返
well.
して。
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
私たちの
just to admire
ザ・
it.
スタンリー・パラブルウルトラデラッ
Standing
ク
now
ス
in
を
this
返し
incredible
て。
room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. But eager to get back to business,
フィギュアは探
Stanley
してる
took the
今。
first open door on his left.
ガン無視したらよかったっけ？忘れちゃったな。どうしよっかな。エレベーター降りてみるか。もう何をやって何をやってないかわかんねえんだ。ここなんだっけ？
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to
ああ、
go
元に戻っちゃった。
From here, it's, left. Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake.
これ同じ流れかな。
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear. Would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep. Okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
ああ、これに戻ってくるのか。
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a
もう
spoiler.
散々見たんだよ、これもうさ。
Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this
バケツ持
time,
つか。
suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm?
バケツを持って世界を旅する
From
か。
the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
あ、意外
Stanley
と離れ
decided
た。
to go to the
スタ
meeting
ンリー君
room.
腕
Perhaps
長
he
い
had
ね。
simply missed a memo.
あ、バケツない。バケツがない。バケツがないってことは同じになっちゃう。バケツがないなっちゃった。そうか。そう
When
か。
Stanley... Wait, what? No.
一旦さ、メニューを終了する。 あ、ここに戻ってくるんですね。じゃあ、バケツないなっちゃった、ないなっちゃったから、もう一回バケツ、もうずっとバケツいるよ。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
しゃあねえな、お
The
め
confusion and
え。
the chaos all seemed to melt away
じゃあもう
as
これ
Stanley
で、
embraced the bucket.
これであれがやるか。さっきのやつやるか。
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
バケツを抱くとバケツに全部支配されるんだよな。
employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
じゃあもう一回降りようね。このゲーム嫌に丁寧なんですよね。腹立ちますね。
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here.
あれ？
I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
おめえが出したんやろうがい。はあ。じゃあもう。
Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the bucket destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The Broom Closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
宇宙
The bucket destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were
腕
here,
ごと行けよ、もう。頭ごとでもよかったけど。
magnificent.
スタンリー君は全然復活するから、頭からでも足からでも好きな方から、たい焼きの頭からか尻尾からが問題ぐらい気楽に言ってよかったと思うんだけど。ダメっすか。ダメだ。
All of his
帰ってきちまう。
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
あれなんかパソコンの画面変わって。
No matter how hard Stanley looked,
変わ
he
ってる
couldn't
し、め
find
っ
a
ちゃつい
trace
て
of his
る。
co-workers.
壊れちゃった。あ、バケツある。バケツある。バケツ持ってこう。
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was
じゃあどう
home.
しようかな。左行
Stanley
っ
clutched
て
the bucket tightly to his
下に行
chest
くか。
and entered the door on his left.
あ、結構バケツを持っていくと結構いろいろ変わりそうっすね。様子のおかしい。ああ、ここにあるんだ。じゃあ、large room, lots of boxes. Something to do with somewhere both red and blue. あー、なるほどね。ほーん。ほーん。レッド&ブルーは覚えてるけど、それが覚えてねえや。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
ほーん。ああ、こ
But
こあれ
Stanley
か。
just couldn't do it.
無
He
限ルー
considered
プ部
the
屋か。
possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken
無
that
限ルー
risk?
プ部屋か。
All because he
どう
believed
しよう。
everyone had vanished? His
バケ
boss would think
ツ
he
によ
was
って話
crazy.
が変わるかな。
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his
ああ、
arms.
話が変わ
Am I
る。
crazy? He asked the bucket.
じゃあここにい
The
ようか
bucket
な。
returned his gaze, but said nothing at
一緒だ
all.
からね。
That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in
バケ
difficult
ツはバケ
times
ツだ
such
よ。
as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal,
なんだ
everyday
誰かのバケ
bucket.
ツ。
Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no
Huh?
good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically
バケツ消え
grounding
ちゃっ
presence of his
た。
bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the
バケ
rooms
ツ
were
消えちゃっ
repeating, which
た。
was of course very odd.
どこ行った
Now he felt
の？
himself floating off the ground.
あ、また浮いた。
He exclaimed, "Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it?
な
I
るほどね。
must
そう
find
いう
it."
方向性になる
Far
ん
off
だ。
in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the
あ、
next.
バケツだらけに
None
な
of
っ
them
て
were
る。
his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to
や
me,
ば。
Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was
ナ
the
レー
only
ター
way
の
to
こび
truly
た声気
restore
持ち
his
悪いな。
sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful.
え、
Stanley doubled over in agony
は
and blacked out.
はえ、埋め込まれてたってこと？
This is the story of
あ
a
ー、
woman
話変わっちゃっ
named
た。
Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed,
Oh,
picked up
buckets
her
持って。
bucket of comfort and security, and
お
walked to
か
her
しい
place
よ。
of work.
あ、バケツ
But
持
on
ってる
this
差分
particular
が。
day, her walk was interrupted by
丁
the
寧
body
だ
of a
な、この
man
ゲー
who
ム。
had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course, he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be.
なんでこんな爽やかな BGM で終われるんだよこれが。
Bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life
私の人生やべえわ。
and she backflipped all the way to work.
なんでそんな鍋て要はこともなしみたいな終わり方ができるんですか？
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
なんか話変わってきたな。ミーティングトゥデイ。本。
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
どうしよっかな。
Stanley
じゃあ
clutched the
右行っ
bucket
て
tightly to his. This was not the correct way to the meeting
エレ
room.
ベーターにでも乗
But
るか。
Stanley had felt the bucket
エレベーターじゃない
calling
や。
to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply
名
the
前が
place
出て
to
こない。
be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket
名
was
前が出て
wrong.
こない。リフト
Stanley
か？
took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere
バ
else.
ケツの声が
The
ちょっと
cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I
Oh.
need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he
おかしく
unthinkingly
なっ
did
ちゃったよ。
whatever the bucket
もとも
asked.
とおかしかったけどさ。よいしょ。
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
ほう。真っ暗。うわあ。ああ。
Now pick up the phone.
Said the
いや、ち
bucket.
ょっと
Pick up
嫌
the
です。
phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go
前回
about
電話
life
に出たん
together.
で、今回は電話出ないことにしようかな。じゃあ反復横跳びにもしてようかな。あんま滑んないな。開かないのか。早く電話切れないかな。粘るね、電話先。もう諦めな。いらんよ、こっちには。バケツしかいない。バケツは電話に出れない。つまりそういうことだ。しぶといな。いないよ。こっちの方が楽だな。いないよ。開かねえな。おう。
Oh,
There was
hold
a
on.
sound.
Why did you unplug the
なんだ？
phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things.
あ、ここで正
Buckets
気に戻るん
can't
だ。
talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the
す
joke?
ごい緩やかに
Should
抜
I
けた
have。paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional
開けて
video
くん
on
ね、扉。
comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
あ、あ、あ、
What is
わあ、
comedic
なんか始まった。
What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, with each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threatens our very existence, and will very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
え？青函戦争?
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Oh, hoi, hoi, hoi. ほい。おー、ほいほいほいほいほいほい。はい。
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Oh. 困っちゃった。困っちゃった。ただいまー。ただいま。
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
じゃあ。は
What? We're back at the phone already? No.
すぐ戻ってくる。すごい。便利。
There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing is completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think...
いや、もういい。もういい。ビデオはもういいです。もういいです。
Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
もういいです。
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
ちょっとビデオは見たくないんで、こっち行っていいですか？
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone.
ビデ
Did
オ
you
は
not
勘
even
弁して
look
ほ
at
し
the
くて。
instructional video? I think this was all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... It's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are.
あいつバケツ持ってないよ。
No? Still not... Is it the delivery? Pale with shame.
すごい翻訳ありがとうございます。おかげで日本語すごいわかりやすかったです。
What's another word to describe a bucket?
終わった？
Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing.
それメタル違いだね。
No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos.
何？
Let's see.
終わっ
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
あれ？バケツある。私たちはスタンリーパラブル2の世界に取り残されているんですか？でもなんかこの辺変わってなくて安心するな。色合いだけおかしいけど。帰れない。何もわからないよ。私には何もわからないよ。なんだこのゲーム。なんかでもようわからんけど、エンドロール見たし、キリもいいし、終わるか、今日。ちょっと早いけど。まあこのゲーム終わりがないといえば終わりがないんですけどね。The end is never なんとかかんとかかんとか。終わるか。ということで今日の配信はこの辺りで終わろうと思います。多分明日、一斉トライアルに来てるネクロダンサーをちょっと遊ぶ配信をするかなと思うのでよろしくお願いします。もうダメだ。スタンリーは一旦終わるかな。なんかエンドの到達の仕方調べてエンドを回収するみたいな回はやってもいいかなと思うけど、それはなんかみんな買ってやってくれ。みんな買ってどうにかしれ。スタンリーパラブル2から抜け出してくれ。わからねえよ私このゲームが。ということで皆様配信ご視聴いただきありがとうございました。また次の配信でお会いいたしましょう。それではお疲れ様でした。バイバーイ。私は何もわからないよ。